loaded, run the game, so loaded, nothing changed, so loaded, so loaded, so loaded, you know the name, so loaded, run the game, so loaded, nothing changed, so loaded, so loaded, so loaded, you know the name, so loaded. What up? Yo, ready to do this. Qué sinvergüenza se ha puesto ese paqui, ese mariconazo. Después que comienza hablando tanta mierda. Jay doesn't turn in his previews on time. At least you told, at least I told you niggas when I was gonna be late. This nigga Packy though. He's a whole 2 days late and now he's gonna be like, I couldn't do it. I had too much work. I had beard in my mouth. I think it was beard. It might have been testicle hair. So whatever. I decided to jump in and do this damn thing. Anyway, as you've already noticed, I started the show with a little tribute to So Loyal. That's the ever popular Cousin Juan. I talked a lot of shit this year about Aaron Rodgers and how he wasn't worth. Well, I called him overrated. I stick by that. I think a lot of his throws are good, but a lot of them also have to do with his receivers. I don't think he makes receivers like maybe Big Ben does, but whatever. That's my opinion. So let's do this fucking preview thing. It's week 11. Let me talk about my sponsors real quick. Today we're sponsored by the one and only So Loyal. All right, shout out to Cousin Juan and ATL. Also being sponsored here, my little sister hooked it up with some Brugal XB. Niggas, tell the truth. All of y'all thought this was Brugal 15. That's what I thought when I saw this shit. But whatever, the commercial says XB. That's what I'm going with. Week 11 is actually turning out to be a really important week in this fantasy football league. It seems like nobody really is out of the race. I mean, I got two teams at 3-7, and I got about four teams at 4-6. Wait, that looks like six teams at 4-6, and the last two playoff spots, 5-6. Those are two 5-5 teams. Now, if things bounce the right way and you have one of those 5-5 teams lose, now they're 5-6, and all of a sudden you got like a little runaround, a little merry-go-round movement. And as I go on with these previews, you're gonna notice how one loss like really shoots you up or down the ladder. So let's just get started. I think I've started this shit like 3 times. My bad. I've been drinking for about 5 or 6 hours, so I may be a little incoherent, a little bit out of it, but what else is fucking new? I want to give a shout out to this mustache, by the way. I live in New York. We don't necessarily do the no shave November, but I work on Wall Street with a lot of white people, and we're doing Movember, so it's all about the mustache, not necessarily the beard. All right, so I can see there I've been talking for about 3.5 minutes. I know y'all niggas get bored of me real quick, so let's get started. I'm not gonna start with my team since I got a bunch of feedback last time about it. So let's start with fucking team number one, the number one seed, So Loyal. Number one's playing against number 8. So Loyal currently sits at 8-2. They're gonna be playing Suck My Cock this week, who's at 4-6. Let me just click on this shit and preview what's going on here. This setup looks pretty straightforward. Mind you, today is Friday. We played a game already on Thursday. Thursday Night Football already happened. Miami Dolphins and Buffalo. I'll try to keep that in mind when I'm talking about how these teams match up. In this particular matchup, though, it doesn't seem like any of the positions were used. So all of you guys are going to start 11 players on Sunday. Some of them may carry over to Monday games. I don't know why this looks like this. It should have given me something else to look at, but whatever. Let's see here. Stupid phone is on Fantasy Cast. I don't understand why. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so Loyal, Suck My Cock, both starting 11 players.
standard rules should apply. No really big pickups are made this week. If we go by the projected, it looks like So Loyal is going to rip into Suck My Cock. It's about, they're projecting 125 to 99. I wouldn't be surprised. We got Aaron Rodgers going against Philly. Um, Philly has a chance to do, to play really well. Their defense, as far as fantasy goes, has a lot of points, but when it comes to fantasy defenses, since they mix it with special teams, there's a lot of like interceptions and punt returns and all that other bullshit. But as far as just cornerbacks against Aaron Rodgers, I'm not really feeling it. The Sunday night game going to be real good. We've got Andrew Luck versus Tom Brady. Um, Tom Brady's been looking good recently. The New England Patriots been looking real strong. Gronkowski being back definitely helps out that team, but that's not the matchup we're talking about here. We're talking about Andrew Luck. It's basically a push at quarterback, Rodgers or Luck. I got the running back edge going to Suck My Cock, Jamal Charles and Trent Richardson. We have Darren Sproles, who's basically a plug and play. He's kind of a vulture. C.J. Anderson's going to start in place of the injured Ronnie Hillman. So Loyal's going to go with him. I don't know how wise that would be, but to each his own. DeMarco Murray's not playing this week. That probably should have hurt So Loyal, but honestly, it's his only player on bye. It looks like he's going to start a regular who's who of his normal starters. We got Bolden coming back. Deshaun Jackson against Tampa Bay, who sucks. We got Larry Donnell. I heard that all of the San Francisco linebackers are injured, so he might have a chance to do big things. This is an interesting one here. So Loyal starts T.Y. Hilton, and Suck My Cock is expecting to get most of his points from Andrew Luck. So if he throws any touchdowns to T.Y. Hilton, who gets the bulk of the points? All right, Suck My Cock starting Jamal Charles, Trent Richardson, Andre Johnson. By the way, Andre Johnson has one touchdown all year. Jermaine Jones, blah, whatever. Martellus Bennett. Martellus Bennett is pretty much good for the first 4 or 5 games of the season. After that, he's pedestrian. Brandon Oliver, what happened to him? I guess people caught up to him. No big deal here on defense. I see Suck My Cock picked up Matt Bryant. I dropped that bum. He sucks. And not a whole much more to say here. So let's move on to the next matchup. Next matchup is going to be the Porch Monkey Cum Dumpsters at 3-7, the 14th seed against number 2 Ray Rice. LL feature Ray Rice knock you out. I don't even know what the fuck that shit means. Once again here, Ali will not have his first overall pick, Jordan Cameron. I'm really gonna stop talking about that shit. We've teased him enough over that garbage. He really put in a solid team. He's currently standing at number 2. He's projected to kick his porch monkey ass. We got Russell Wilson against Kansas City. Ahmad Bradshaw against New England. New England is struggling a little bit at linebacker, so Ahmad Bradshaw, he hasn't been bad. I see him getting another receiving touchdown. He does that all the time. Le'Veon Bell against Tennessee, might as well be running by himself. Big pickup of Jordy Nelson against Philadelphia. Like I mentioned before, no real corners to cover on Jordy Nelson. This is that Brian kid in Pittsburgh who picked up recently. All right, whatever. Don't know much about who else is starting here. It looks like the only missing people here on bye, Cecil Shorts and Denard Robinson, 2 Jacksonville Jaguars. Who gives a shit? Porch Monkeys, who are they starting? Drew Brees. All right, well, Drew Brees hasn't been the Drew Brees we expected when we first drafted, but he's still Drew Brees. Rashad Jennings is finally coming back from injury. Hopefully, he'll give us a big performance. We got Alfred Morris coming back. Not coming back, but just, against Tampa Bay. That should be an easy one. Tampa Bay has 2 really good linebackers. I don't know why the defense is so poor. But I guess, everybody's just demotivated. Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Evans. This is looking pretty good. Porch Monkey might want to check out his tight end spot. He still has Jason Witten set up top. Jason Witten's on bye, brother. Replace him. Everything else, standard, defense, whatever. I give the edge on this one to Ray Rice. It's by projection points, it's close. None of the players played on the Thursday night game. Um, no significant people are out except for maybe Jason Wynn, but I wouldn't even call him significant. So to each his own. I'm taking Ray Rice on this one. Let's see who we got in the next matchup. Let me talk a little bit about myself. I got Ramsey. You can't hear Ramsey, who's currently at 3-7, 13th overall, only better than the Cum Dumpsters, who we beat in the 1-on-1 head-to-head, coming against the Naco Pigs at 4-6. This is an interesting matchup because, first of all, Ivan already played two of his players, Charles Clay and Mike Wallace. Combined, they barely got to 11 points. So to lose 2 spots already and only get 11 points, that's critical. That looks more, that feels kind of like Jay week 7, but whatever. So who we got now? Stafford in Detroit against Arizona. Brutal fucking matchup for Stafford. But he's going to be throwing at Calvin Johnson. It feels like you can throw on them. I would not count on the Detroit running backs, but the receivers, Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, Matthew Stafford, he might still get his yards, touchdown here and there, and whatever. You know, when you play Matthew Stafford, you play big for the touchdowns, but you also lose a lot with the fucking interceptions. It comes with the territory. Robert Griffin against Tampa Bay got a chance to do big things, but he's Robert Griffin. He'll probably be injured by minute 3 of the second quarter. Steven Jackson against Carolina. Carolina's been brutal against the run, so Steven Jackson has a chance to do some big things. Bobby Rainey against Washington. Both defenses suck. Bobby Rainey should get yards. He's going to be the focal point, the number 1 running back now that they basically gave up on Doug Martin. They just screw it. Frank Gore against the pitiful defense of the New York Giants. Should do well. Eddie Lacy also has a good matchup. I guess what I'm trying to say so far is that through those 3 spots, quarterback and running back, seems like a push. It could go either way. Receiver gets interesting. We have Roddy White, Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon in Minnesota. Minnesota's defense is not terrible. But I haven't heard a whole bunch of talk about their corners. I think this may be a game where Brandon Marshall, who I've been hearing all week, has an injury, may not do so well. So it's a chance for Alshon Jeffrey to get his points. Roddy White getting points against Carolina and their short little cornerbacks. Jordan Reed. I'm excited about Jordan Reed as far as my team goes. I haven't really seen a whole lot of him. Hopefully this pans out. As long as I beat Ivan in every one of the positions head to head, I'm good. Larry Fitzgerald against Detroit. Detroit is a really good defense. Jared McKinnon against Chicago. It's a tough one. I'm going to have to revisit that one. That's my flex spot. I recently heard that McKinnon was on the injury report, so I might have to look that over. Defense, I got 3 linebackers going against a couple of linebackers / DNs. This game will be decided by the kicker. Whatever. In the end, Naco Pigs already blew 2 of his spots, didn't even get, or just barely got to double digits. So it's looking good for You Can't Hear Ramsey. At the end of this week, Ramsey and Ivan will be tied, and if Ramsey wins the head-to-head, that basically jumps me up from number 13 to potentially number 12 or 11. So looking forward to that one. Let's see here. Who do we have next? We got the Gotham City Rogues, who had a pitiful performance last week. They just did terrible. They're currently at 7-3. They went from the number 1 tie to 4th place. They're going to go against the Mountain Goats. The Mountain Goats stand at 5-5. This is one of those 5-5 teams that I said were dangerous. They're at the brink of possibly falling off. So, Rogues decided to forego Cam Newton, and he started Ryan Tannehill instead. He will also start Jonathan Stewart. Why the fuck would you start Jonathan Stewart? Where's your other running back? Is he hurt? You got George Bell. It's against Arizona. You know what, man? I gotta say, I don't really know what you're thinking there. D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart. I don't know. Whatever, man. You know, you're the deepest team. You know what you're doing. Seriously though, what happened to your other? Who's your second running back? I'm looking over this. Have you been winning games with Drake Bell? All right, whatever. Teach his own. So Gotham City Rogue starts Tannehill. Tannehill, decent first game for a Thursday night. Not a bad start there. Stewart, Matt Forte, Jeremy Maclin, Antonio Brown. This team was very good. They were always favorites. I gotta wonder though, did you out trade yourself? Did you trade so many assets that you now became maybe not as deep going into the playoffs? The projection is really close. Mountain Ghost has not used any of his spots yet. Oh, actually, no, I'm lying. They used the flex spot already. Got 8 points out of that. Maybe not terrible. I don't know how you guys see the flex spot, but basically a flex is a player who's good enough to be better than the bench, but not necessarily one of the starters. So to get 8 points from the flex is not terrible. Matt Ryan against Carolina, you can throw against them. Roy Halou. I don't know about this. You know, you got a couple of committee running backs. Demaryius Thomas, that's a very good plus against St. Louis. Tough defense, but you know, Peyton Manning, he'll put up points against them, so that's a plus you got in your favor. Jordan Matthews in Philadelphia against Green Bay, you can throw against them. Jimmy Graham and Antonio Gates, your double-headed tight end and flex. You got them back. Not really affected by bye weeks. This is gonna sound super weird. I'm not feeling the running back situation at the Mountain Goats at all. And even with a double-digit game from Ryan Tannehill, I'm gonna take Mountain Goats in this one. All right. Let's see who's next. Who do we have? Let's see. We have the Recyclers, who also are at 5-5, against Calvin and the Chipmunks. So this is another one. You know, if it so happens that Calvin upsets the Recyclers, who are currently one spot ahead of them, all of a sudden that puts Calvin ahead of the Recyclers because they win the head-to-head. They'll both have identical records. So let's preview this real quick. Who is on bye? Who can be hurt by this? Ronnie Hillman's injured. Nick Foles is injured. Wow. 2 really big losses there. Alex Smith on the Recyclers bench. Who the hell are you starting at? Oh, I don't understand this trade that you made here for Ben Roethlisberger. Honestly, bro, I mean, Alex Smith was, you know, serviceable. I know Nick Foles got hurt, but if you're not going to drop Nick Foles, then why would you trade to get Roethlisberger? Just start Alex Smith. He already had his bye week. You can keep playing him. He's going to get you double-digit points. Don't really like this trade here. This Smith character, yeah, he fizzled out. The Smith dude in Atlanta, he caught a couple passes, turned them into touchdowns. That shit ain't happening every day. Monte Ball. Monte, did you guys get the eye roll there? Monte Ball? Whatever. All right, Golden Tate. Calvin Johnson's back, so makes you kind of weak. Kelvin Benjamin. It all depends on how Cam Newton's doing. This doesn't look like it's going to be your week, bro. Calvin and the Chipmunks starting Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler has a lot to prove after having lost last week. Loss is an understatement. They got embarrassed. They feel kind of like the Santo Domingo Raiders there. Maybe even the Oakland Raiders. Raiders in general just suck. Shout out to Packy. You bearded little cunt, you. All right, Andre Ellington against Detroit. Tough matchup, but he should put up points. Jeremy Hill against New Orleans. That looks like an easy one. He might put up 20 points in that one. Calvin Johnson back. A.J. Green back against New Orleans. Travis Kelce against Seattle. That'll be a tough one, but you'll make it up. Odell Beckham Jr. against San Francisco. I expect a lot of good things out of Odell Beckham. Honestly, man, I do not see how Green as Fuck Recyclers wins this one. At the end of this one, I think Packy will sneak into the playoffs. So, good for you. All right, not a whole lot to talk about there. Sorry, my analysis wasn't as in-depth as all the other ones, but, you know, when there's not a lot to talk about, it's not a lot to talk about. Titans at 4-6 against the Brady Bunch at 4-6. Finally, the Titans are starting to make some noise. They're starting to sound like what we expected them to be. Who are the Titans starting this week? We got Brady coming back, Shady McCoy. The biggest disappointment in fantasy this year, in my opinion, is Shady McCoy. Mark Ingram, he could have a good game against Cincinnati. Greg Jennings, why are you starting him? Well, Percy Harvin on bye. Marcus Lee. I guess you don't have a lot of better options, but Greg Jennings is kind of whatever. Julio Jones, all right, very good. Rob Gronkowski, Zach Ertz, McKelvin. I don't even know who that player is. Oh, he's defense, my bad. 2 tackles. Well, I guess you don't have much of a choice there. It's looking very, very good for the Titans. They're at 4-6. Might end up 5-6 after this week. That may be good enough to jump you even over the Recyclers. I got to go back and check how your head-to-head is against them. But you got a chance. You got a chance there. So far, they've used up 1 spot. It's McKelvin, the Buffalo defensive player. Got 2 points from that. Brady Bunch also used a defensive player. Got 4.5 points. They're currently in the lead. There will start Peyton Manning. I heard Reggie Bush is injured. I don't know why you're still starting him. Ryan Matthews, is he even back? Miles Austin, Ruben Randall, Vernon Davis, Marcus Colston. All right, basically you got Peyton Manning and nobody. Who are you starting this week, bro? Check this shit out. Oh, shit, everyone's on bye. Bye. Darryl Smith, Owen Daniels. Oh, this is what happens when you pick too many players on one team. You know, the week they have the bye, you're totally stripped. I do not see any way Brady Bunch wins this week. They're also at 4-6. They're going to end up at 4-7. I'm at 4-7. You could easily drop to. Well, I think you beat me in the head-to-head the first week. So let me see. Brady Bunch is at 10. They could easily end up at 13 at the end of this week. So I don't even know what to say about that one. Are we down to the last matchup already? Shit, 7 already. All right, let's see. Who do we have? It's the underachieving cunts against Pica Pollo Chino. This is always a hard one to call because Gary likes to play this game where he just hides everyone, doing the Belichick, brings him in at the very last minute. How do you analyze this shit? Seriously, bro. Gary, do us a favor. You want to be talked about in the previews. Let us know who the fuck you're starting. What the fuck is this shit? Who could you possibly start? Let me see. Marshawn Lynch is a for sure go. Not a lot of options on defense, so they're going. And, all right, well, Eli Manning, Malcolm Floyd, Swisham. What do you have? 2 kickers? Well, you already used Sturgis, so those are your 9 points at kicker. Forsett is on bye. That's a big loss for you. Doug Baldwin, Asiata could vulture touchdowns. Pierre Garcon should definitely start. And you got Joe Flacco on bye, so I don't understand why you would put Manning on your bench and bring him up last minute, if you will. We know that's the only option you have at quarterback. As far as Parfum Bush's Pica Pollo Chino, you got this one. Phillip Rivers, Arian Foster. Might want to look into Arian Foster's situation. I heard that he was put on questionable this week. They're calling it a game time decision, but that's none of my business, though. Not a whole lot to talk about here. I think you're going to win this one. Randall Cobb scores a shitload of touchdowns. Julius Thomas. Chamberlain's okay. Arian Foster's all right. Let me just take the opportunity here while I do this to go pick up Alfred Blue, since it looks like Arian Foster may not go. Does anyone else have him already? Blue, where are you, little shit? Let's see, looking for Alfred Blue. Let's see here. Let's see who's got him. Alfred Blue. Oh, wait. Is he on anybody's team? Ah, that sneaky little bitch Packy has him. He's been hiding them since God knows what week. This might be the week you want to start him, bro. You got a chance to win against the Recyclers. I think you take it anyway, but if you want to up those chances, Arian Foster doesn't go, keep that finger on the trigger, brother, and just press it. And hey, if you want to trade, I think I may still have some assets to move, so let's do it. All right, so I think that wraps it up for Week 11 previews. I'm going to stay here, finish this drink, listen to the musical stylings of So Loyal Records. Shout out to Cousin Juan over in Atlanta. I always wanted to have a co-host for these. I guess I have one today. Once again, shout out. You guys be safe. Packy's a little cunt for not doing his previews. Peace out.